day. It's Dr. Piet van Zyl with South African Racing Pigeon magazine, and I'd like to say something about worms in pigeons today. All pigeon lofts will be infected by worms at one stage or another. And if you've got 100 birds, a few of them will be clean, a few will be heavily infected, and the rest will be somewhere in the middle. So I've changed my idea on coping with worms in pigeons from testing it, because usually we test 4 birds out of 100 birds, and then we say, no, there's no worms here. But of course we miss a lot of the infected birds if you don't test all the birds. And worms are infective to birds and it's detrimental to their health. We classify worms in pigeons in 2 groups mainly. It's your tapeworms, that's infective to all birds, and it's the roundworms. And the roundworms, you get 2 types. The bigger Ascaris type worms, that's more or less like the chicken worms, and they are detrimental. They can get into they can get into the livers, and so it's important to keep your whole loft worm-free. We do not like treating single birds for worms now and then. I like to do a blanket treatment against all worms for the whole loft, breeding stock and your racing birds or young birds at one time. So why don't I like treating one loft at a time or one bird at a time? Because there'll always be cross infection from infected birds. And like everybody knows, salmonella and worms, especially the roundworms, are interconnected. If you've got a worm infection, your gut inside will be damaged and you will get salmonella infection in your birds. A lot of the worm remedies that's used in pigeons is actually toxic, because they were never intended to be used in birds. And we get away with it sometimes, because the birds usually don't die, they just get sick. To test 4 pigeons out of 100 does not mean the whole loft is free of worms. In livestock, we recommend you treat the whole flock, because a few of the birds will be in good health, a few of them will be heavily infected, and a few will be clean. So to test 4 out of 100 birds and say there's no problem in the loft is just not the way I like to treat animals. We don't distinguish in treatment and treat at one time for tapeworms and another time for the larger roundworms and another time for the smaller roundworms. We like to treat them all at once. Use a product, and it is available, the product that can treat all worms in one treatment and a one-day treatment. And there are safe medicines available these days for birds that won't damage the feathers and it won't damage the livers of the birds. And in a specific group of active ingredients, there are safer ones and less safer ones, and we like to use the most effective, safest products in a combination product. In my opinion, you'll have to use a tapeworm product that contains praziquantel, and you will have to use a moxidectin for the roundworms. And then you can also add some natural products to make them more effective. We know that the curcumin in cinnamon is a tremendously effective roundworm treatment, and you can add that to the product to make it better and less toxic. Therefore, do not like to see these photos where people are more or less showing how many worms came out of their birds after treatment. Why would you let a bird get infected that heavily before you treat it? We recommend you treat once in 2 months or once in every 3 months. Treat all the birds and keep them free from worms, because they will pick them up in baskets, and in the stray birds that come back will bring them back to the loft. We've got a product that's also a combination product, and it contains, in my opinion, the 2 or 3 best active ingredients in a combination with an essential oil again to soothe the gut health when you treat it. It's a once-off treatment. You don't have to give it for days, and it does not make the pigeons vomit, or it does not make them sick. Some of the older medicines kill the worms just before it kills the birds, and we don't like to use products like this. The same if you do use products that's registered for livestock. Make absolutely sure you know what the dosage should be in birds. I've seen many intoxications, I've seen many birds' health destroyed by overdosage of toxic substances because the people did not calculate the dosage correctly. So it's one of the things, get decent advice if you want to use livestock products in your birds. Thank you.